Part 3. Being a Bug in a Survival Game. Author, Kuanke. Chapter 21. Sutingyu and Qin-Chi each carried hiking bags and walked in the woods. It's this direction. Sutingyu looked left and right, muttering. After a while, when Sutingyu saw the familiar stone tablet, his eyes lit up. He ran over and circled around the stone tablet. There is no blood. Sutingyu raised his head and looked at Qin-Chi. This stone tablet should still have the power to seal. Qin-Chi glanced at the stone tablet and said, "Yeah." After Sutingyu finished speaking, he tilted his head. According to the story, the monster wants to contaminate the stone tablet with human blood. Now let the monster control the puppet to destroy the stone tablet. Then when the monster breaks the seal and comes out, we won't be able to. The stone tablet can restrain monsters. It looks like an unsolvable situation. Generally speaking, players should do their best to protect the stone monument and survive it for 7 days. But Sutingyu and Qin-Chi wanted to let the monsters come out. As long as they got rid of the monsters, they would get generous rewards. The question is whether we can get rid of the monster. The stone tablet should be the only item in this dungeon that can restrain monsters. If all the stone tablets are destroyed, there will be no items that can restrain monsters. Qin-Chi, can you beat the monster? For the sake of his precious life, Sutingyu felt that he had to ask clearly. Qin-Chi thought for a while, maybe. Hearing this, Sutingyu's eyes widened, a little disbelieving. You are an old player, you always have the experience and tools to deal with monsters, right? Moreover, Qin-Chi showed that he was not afraid of the monsters and only wanted the maximum benefit reward, which made Sutingyu think that he was completely sure of dealing with the monsters. Now it's just possible to beat it? Qin-Chi explained, the dungeon has fixed rules. If you want to completely defeat the dungeon boss, you can only use the rules. Sutingyu asked again, you can't do it either. You can protect yourself, but... Qin-Chi frowned, as if he thought of something, and there was a hint of annoyance in his words. I'm not sure it can be completely solved. Sutingyu breathed a sigh of relief. She was scared to death. She thought Qin-Chi was trying to make a fool of himself. Since he could protect himself and even threaten monsters, Sutingyu wouldn't be afraid anymore. Since this is the case, then we must ensure that some of the stone monuments are not destroyed. Sutingyu's eyes fell on the stone monument again. This is also the reason why the two of them came to visit their old place so early in the morning. Because this stone tablet is the most complete one the two of them have ever seen. Sutingyu squatted in front of the stone tablet, and a thought suddenly came to his mind. Qin-Chi, can this stone tablet be dug out? Qin-Chi's expression was slightly stunned for a rare moment, and his tone was a little uncertain. It should be. No way. But before Qin-Chi could finish the last 3 words, Sutingyu hugged the stone tablet with both hands and pulled out the entire stone tablet with slight force, like pulling out a carrot. Qin-Chi. When Sutingyu pulled out the stone tablet, the panel that had not bubbled for a long time suddenly popped out. Props, the vicissitudes of stone tablet. Grade, ordinary. Function, you can seal some evil things as long as they are not broken. They can be reused, provided there is nothing inside. Whether the copy can be brought out, no. Durability, 80%, reparable, less than 50%, there is a certain probability of damage, and reparable, less than 20%, the prop is completely damaged and cannot be repaired. Remarks, take good care of antiques and handle them with care. Sutingyu let go of his hand, and the stone tablet fell to the ground with a baji sound. This seems to be a prop. Sutingyu pointed to the stone tablet. Qin-Chi saw Sutingyu's panel pop up, but the content on it was mosaic. Qin-Chi squatted down and touched the stone tablet with his hand, and the panel popped out. 79% durability is still complete. Qin-Chi let go of his hand and stood up slowly. When Sutingyu heard this, she was a little confused. Isn't it 80%? As she said that, She touched the stone tablet again. Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuanke. Chapter 22. Huh? Why did it drop by 1%? Sutingyu looked down again, and when he saw the notes, his big eyes glazed over for a moment. Ah, this. You just dropped the stone tablet and it might be lost, Qin-Chi reminded from the side. Sutingyu retracted her little claws silently. How is that possible? At this time, the cracked corner of the stone tablet came loose, and a small piece of gravel fell out. Sutingyu tried to quibble. Qin-Chi, who witnessed it with his own eyes. Ahem, well, it seems that the stone tablet can be repaired. If it is repaired to 100%, can the monster be completely sealed? Sutingyu secretly changed the subject. In the story, it took 49 stone tablets and special formations to barely seal the monster, Qin-Chi reminded. Sutingyu tilted her head, but many stone tablets are damaged. If the monster escapes, logically speaking, it is impossible to seal the monster again, right? In the main mission, players are only allowed to survive for 7 days, and there is no mention of players being required to seal monsters or even kill monsters. Therefore, in the dungeon rules, monsters may be invincible, and players cannot kill monsters. The normal way to clear the level is to protect NPCs from being turned into puppets in the early stage, to protect the stone monument from being stained with human blood in the later stage, and finally to hide in a safe place for 7 days before leaving Dawn Mountain. But now, Sutingyu and Qin-Chi have taken an unusual path. Qin-Chi was silent for a moment. The stone tablet is still useful. Let's go find a puppet and test it to see if it can be sealed in. That's right. Sutingyu picked up the stone tablet again. For Sutingyu, it's not heavy, but it's too big, which affects the field of vision a bit. It would be nice if it could be made smaller. With the thought, the stone tablet slowly shrank to the size of a brick that Sutingyu could hold with one hand. Wow! So smart, Sutingyu looked over and over curiously. Let's go find the puppet, and find a stone tablet. By the way, Qin-Chi looked unsurprised. Oh. There were a lot of puppets last night, and now the two of them walked along without deliberately hiding their whereabouts, but until they found a relatively complete stone tablet, they didn't even encounter a ghost. In this regard, Sutingyu expressed a little disappointment. Sutingyu pulled out the newly found stone tablet without any hesitation. The panel appears. The information on the steel is the same, except for the durability. The durability of the stone tablet is 71%. Sutingyu said to Qin-Chi next to him after reading the information. Find another piece. The two continued to look for the stone tablet and found a third one. But this time Sutingyu took a closer look and found that the stone tablet was already stained with blood, and there was a broken left hand on the ground next to it, which was bloody. The fracture in the palm does not look like it was cut off by a sharp weapon, but more like it was torn directly with brute force. In Sutingyu's mind, she could already imagine a crooked puppet walking in front of the stone tablet. He raised his right hand and tore off his left palm with a painless expression. Then, holding his right hand with his left hand, he waved his brush like a painter obsessed with art, smearing red paint on the stone tablet. After finishing, the puppet left the paintbrush that couldn't squeeze out the paint here, and left gracefully. Sutingyu pulled out the stone tablet and the panel popped out. Props, blood-stained stone tablet. Grade, junk. Function, a blood-stained stone, can hit people. Other than that, nothing special. Whether the copy can be brought out, no. Durability, 11%, completely damaged and irreparable. Note, throw away the worthless stones. Qin-Chi took the stone tablet and threw it away after reading the message. The monsters have begun to destroy the seal. Then we have to speed up the collection of stone tablets. Sutingyu's hands were empty. It was troublesome to hold the 2 stone tablets. She put them in the inventory. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuan-Ke. Chapter 23. Qing Ruyan was lying in a small secret cave, the entrance of which was mostly blocked by rattan. The space in the small cave is very small. You can only bend down to get in. It is barely enough for two people to lie down. Outside the small cave, there is a small slope. It is not very high. If you lie down near the entrance of the cave as light as smoke, you can see clearly above. It was dark last night. Qing Ruyan accidentally stepped on the air and fell down. He accidentally found this small cave. Seeing that the location was hidden, it was just right for hiding. Qing Ruyan immediately hid in it. It's just that the space is small, so it's not as good as sleeping in a tent, and when I escaped from the camp as light as smoke, I only hurriedly put on a not very thick jacket. After staying up all night in the cave, Qing Ruyan felt that his whole body was extremely cold and stiff, and the parts of his body that had been lying down for a long time were still numb, which was very uncomfortable. After a night passed, Qing Ruyan felt very hungry. She reached for a piece of bread next to her, tore open the package, and ate it with big mouthfuls. After eating a piece of bread, which was as light as smoke, I didn't eat any more. I picked up the mineral water bottle and drank a few sips of water. At this time, there was a rustling sound above the slope, like someone running quickly on the grass. Qing Ruyan quickly held her breath and concentrated, her eyes falling on the slope. On the slope, 5 or 6 puppets with either severed hands or broken hands were chasing Boss Cao and the bald brother, with fierce expressions, and a black flame flickered in the black eye sockets. The two of them were in a bit of a misery. They thought they would find a secluded hiding place after escaping from the camp, but unexpectedly, half an hour ago, the bald brother couldn't hold back his urge to urinate, so he ran out to deal with it, and ran into the wandering puppet. Not dead, the bald brother panicked and yelled to attract the puppet's attention. The bald man subconsciously ran back to find Boss Cao, but both of them were discovered. In desperation, the two had no choice but to run for their lives. Brother Cao! Brother Cao, wait for me! The bald man ran and cried, his face covered with tears and snot, and he was very sick. Fortunately, the game temporarily restored some of the bald man's weak physical abilities, otherwise he wouldn't have been able to run for so long without being overtaken by the puppet. Hurry up, Boss Cao, who was running at the front, complained deeply about the bald brother. He didn't have to be exposed in the first place, it was all his fault because of this idiot. Boss Cao spread his right hand flat and took out a prop from the inventory, which was a pair of small black and white paper figures. Props, a pair of black and white paper figures. Grade, ordinary. Function, small black and white paper people are attached to two people respectively. The black paper people increase the sense of presence, and the white paper people reduce the sense of presence. Unconscious creatures will attack the black paper people first, and conscious creatures have a certain probability to attack the black paper people first. Usage, once. Note, find an unlucky guy to take with you. Roar, 2 puppets suddenly appeared in front of Boss Cao and Brother Bald, blocking their way. The puppets from behind also surrounded him. Brother Cao, what should I do, what should I do? The bald man shrank beside Boss Cao in fear, his eyes darting back and forth on the puppet, revealing deep fear. While the bald man was not paying attention, Boss Cao quickly stuck the black paper man on the back of the bald man, and then pasted the white paper man on himself. Brother Cao, what are you doing? The slow responsive bald man's eyes were confused, and Boss Cao seemed to have stuck something behind his back. Boss Cao was facing the bald brother, stepping away from the ladder step by step, and sighed, I'm sorry, brother, you are a newcomer. Even if you die in the newcomer copy, there will be no punishment. Brother Cao. What did you say, Brother Cao? The bald brother was stunned. No matter how stupid he was, he should have realized the problem. Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuanke. Chapter 24. The little black paper figure behind the bald brother began to heat up, and the puppets around him seemed to be pulled by some kind of force. Ignoring Boss Cao's existence, they all rushed towards the bald brother. Ah, don't come here, don't come here. The bald brother was thrown to the ground, and several puppets swarmed up and bit off his limbs. Break it off. Hot blood and minced meat were sprinkled on the grass, and the screams of the bald man were swallowed up bit by bit. Boss Cao, who had silently lowered his presence, trembled when he saw this scene. The little white paper figure on Boss Cao's body was also getting hot, and even spontaneously ignited without fire. When the little white paper man is completely burned out, Boss Cao will be targeted by the puppets again. Must leave quickly. Boss Cao turned around and wanted to leave, but unexpectedly missed the step and rolled down the slope. In order not to attract the puppets' attention, Boss Cao resisted screaming. Go, 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 go. By coincidence, Boss Cao rolled to the entrance of the cave and had an awkward eye contact with Qing Ruyan inside the entrance. Qing Ruyan's eyes widened. Boss Cao was the first to react and hurriedly got into the hole, not forgetting to cover her mouth as light as a cigarette with his hand to prevent her from making noises that would attract the puppet. Woo! Qing Ruyan's mouth was covered and she struggled subconsciously. Qing Ruyan could clearly see the scene where Boss Cao had framed the bald brother just now. Boss Cao's hypocritical mask was torn off, and he didn't look like the kind old player Qing Ruyan imagined. Don't move, do you want to attract those monsters? Boss Cao made a quick guess and knew that Qing Ruyan had seen the scene just now, and his tone became fierce and cold. Hearing this, Qing Ruyan stopped struggling. The puppets on the slope gradually dispersed, leaving only blood, broken flesh, and rags of cloth on the ground. In the small cave, Boss Cao breathed a sigh of relief and let go of Qing Ruyan. Without the restraints, Qing Ruyan hurriedly stayed away from Boss Cao, her mouth trembling. I didn't see anything. Seeing Qing Ruyan's fearful look, Boss Cao smiled disdainfully. Don't worry, I won't do anything to you for the time being. Because living people are more useful than dead people, just like the bald brother before. Qing Ruyan's face turned pale, obviously thinking about what happened to the bald brother just now. Boss Cao half threatened and half comforted, follow me honestly. If you are lucky and don't encounter the puppet again until the end of the game, I won't do anything to you. The implication is that if he encounters the same situation again, Boss Cao will not hesitate to use Qing Ruyan, even if the latter dies in the dungeon. Qing Ruyan's face turned even paler, and she even regretted why she didn't leave with Angel Su last night. Boss Cao glanced at the food and water in the small cave and was slightly surprised. But Boss Cao didn't intend to snatch it, because he was carrying a hiking bag with plenty of food in it. The bald man's mountaineering bag was not taken with him when he escaped and was still at the original hiding spot. Boss Cao generously gave some food to Qing Ruyan. Eat, or else you won't even have the strength to run away when you encounter a puppet. If he starved to death, he would have one unlucky man to call his own. Qing Ruyan looked at the food thrown by Boss Cao, swallowed her saliva, grabbed a piece of bread, tore open the package and ate it. She knew that Boss Cao was not well-intentioned, but now, she couldn't refuse. She just hoped that she wouldn't encounter those monsters again. Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuanke. Chapter 25. In one day, Sotingyu and Qin Chi found a total of 27 stone tablets. 15 of them were stained with human blood and turned into worthless stones. As darkness fell, the two walked around half a circle in the woods and returned to the cabin to rest for the night. Qin Chi lit a pile of firewood in the wooden house for lighting, and then went to the camp to get supplies alone. Sutingyu, who had nothing to do, simply took out all 12 stone tablets from the inventory and arranged them one by one on the ground. Some of the 12 stone tablets have only 20% to 40% durability and are on the verge of complete damage. Sutingyu held her chin and turned her head around, thinking about how to repair the stone tablet. Monsters can feed on people's fear to strengthen themselves. It is impossible for the stone tablet to just continue to wear out and not be repaired. The system panel shows that it is possible to repair it, but how to repair it? Or ask Qin-Chi to go to the camp to find 520 glue and see if it can stick on. Sutingyu fiddled with the 12 stone tablets and muttered. No way, the damage is in the wrong place. Should I find a hammer, carving knife, or something, and then carve it into a square shape? Sutingyu held a stone tablet in one hand and glanced left and right. The two stone tablets kept bumping, touching, and overlapping. Finding nothing, Sutingyu casually stacked the two stone tablets one on top and placed them next to him. He reached out for the other stone tablets, looked at them a few times, and placed them on top of the two stone tablets like stacking bricks. Suddenly, the panel popped out by itself, startling Sutingyu. Notice. The player Angel Su was detected to trigger one of the prop hiding mechanisms of this dungeon. Player Angel Su is asked to choose whether to fuse multiple dungeon props vicissitudes of stone. The fusion result is unknown. Sutingyu blinked his big eyes twice, glanced at the 4 stacked stone tablets with slightly glowing corners, glanced at the panel again, and then let out a sound full of shock and confusion. Ah! Sutingyu came back to his senses, looked at the two options on the panel, stretched out his index finger, and pressed yes. White light enveloped the 4 stone tablets. After a few seconds, the white light dissipated and the 4 stone tablets disappeared. They were replaced by a new stone tablet with a more complete appearance and clearer runes. Sutingyu curiously checked the information on the new stone tablet. Props, the vicissitudes of stone tablet. Level, ordinary, can be upgraded. Function, you can seal some evil things as long as they are not broken, they can be reused, provided there is nothing inside. Whether the copy can be brought out, no. Durability, 75%, reparable, less than 50%, there is a certain probability of damage and reparable, less than 20%, the prop is completely damaged and cannot be repaired. Remarks, take good care of antiques and handle them with care. His. Seeing the durability, Sutingyu took a breath. If she remembered correctly, none of the 4 stone tablets had a durability of 70%, and after fusion, the durability actually increased. In addition, there is an upgradable prompt at the level of the props. Could it be that if the fusion continues, the stone tablet can still be upgraded? Will the upgraded stone tablet be able to deal with monsters? Sutingyu, who became more and more excited as he thought about it, waved his hand and decided to integrate all the remaining stone tablets. 1 piece, 2 pieces, 4 pieces. When Sutingyu took out 3 stone tablets and stacked them with the new stone tablet, as expected, the fusion prompt on the panel appeared again. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuanke. Chapter 26. Fusion. Fusion. Fusion, Sutingyu was about to fuse for the 4th time when he came up empty. Sutingyu took a look and found that there were only 2 stone tablets that had not been fused, plus the new stone tablets that had been fused, a total of 3, which did not meet the fusion conditions. Sutingyu counted a few times on his fingers and was dumbfounded. There's still a piece missing. Unwilling to be reconciled, Sutingyu took a look at the 95% durability of the new stone tablet, and then took another look, and another look, and another look. It's so cute. Sutingyu held his head, looking frustrated. Qin-Chi, who came back, happened to see the scene and asked, "What's wrong?" Sutingyu pursed his lips and told Qin-Chi about the discovery of the fusion of the stone tablets. The latter showed a hint of surprise. He picked up the new fused stone tablet and checked it. He saw that the durability was as high as 95%. He had to believe it. "It's okay. I'll find another piece tomorrow." After understanding the cause and effect, Qin-Chi comforted him. Sutingyu reluctantly responded, "Okay. Meow. It's so uncomfortable." Sutingyu put the 3 stone tablets into his inventory, out of sight. "By the way, Qin-Chi," Sutingyu suddenly thought of a question, "I have put the 12 stone tablets in the inventory for a day, and I haven't seen them fuse. How can I just take them out?" Qin-Chi frowned slightly. "The inventory is a special space and cannot be fused in it. Maybe there are some restrictions." "Oh." Sutingyu couldn't understand the question and stopped worrying about it. "Qin-Chi, good night then." Sutingyu happily hugged the sleeping bag Qin-Kixin brought back and went back to sleep. Rather than the particularity of the inventory, Sutingyu was more looking forward to waking up tomorrow and looking for the remaining stone tablets. Well. Qin-Chi put away the newly brought supplies and added a few firewood to the fire. After making sure that the fire could burn until midnight, she got up and went to the kitchen. Lying down in the sleeping bag with a pile of hay under it, Qin-Chi turned her head slightly and looked in the direction of the bedroom. Good night. Copy Day 6. After a night's rest, Sutingyu and Qin-Chi went to look for the remaining stone tablets again. But several stone tablets found one after another were stained with blood and turned into ordinary stones. "This is the 34th piece, and it's stained with blood." Sutingyu pouted with a disappointed face. "In the whole morning, I couldn't even find a useful stone tablet. Compared with yesterday's harvest, it was a huge difference." Qin-Chi glanced at the low bushes around him. He seemed to have discovered something and walked towards a bush. "Huh?" Sutingyu turned her head in confusion. Qin-Chi bent down and reached out to push aside the bushes. When he saw something on the ground, his eyes paused slightly. "There seems to be another stone tablet here," Qin-Chi's voice sounded. When Sutingyu heard this, he immediately ran over. There is a small portion of slightly exposed rocks on the ground under the bushes. Suting watched with fishy eyes as Qin-Chi dug up the surrounding soil bit by bit, and familiar symbols were revealed under the stones. "It's a stone tablet." Sutingyu's face was full of surprise. "The location of this stone tablet is hidden, and it has not been stained with a trace of blood." Qin-Chi tried to dig out the stone tablet, but couldn't dig it out. It seemed that there were some rules restricting him. I'll do it," Sutingyu squatted down actively, grabbed the corners of the stone tablet with 2 small claws, and with a slight exertion, the stone tablet that Qin-Chi had been unable to dig out was easily pulled out. With the stone tablet in hand, Sutingyu immediately checked the information on the stone tablet. 32% durability, okay, not completely damaged. Sutingyu looked at such a small piece of stone tablet, which was very damaged, and she was really afraid that it would make her feel lonely. Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuan-Ke. Chapter 27. Props, The Vicissitudes of Stone Tablet. Grade, Bronze. Function, can seal some powerful evil things. As long as they are not broken, they can be reused, provided there is nothing inside. Can copies be brought out? Yes. Durability, 100%, full. Every time a prop is used, part of the durability will be reduced. Remarks, take good care of antiques and handle them with care. After Sutingyu fused the 4 stone tablets, he got a brand new stone tablet, and the information on the stone tablet changed a lot. The grade, function, and durability of the props have all changed. Most importantly, this brand new bronze level stone tablet actually shows that it can bring out a copy. Qin-Chi, the information on the panel says that you can bring out copies. Is that literal? Sutingyu handed Qin-Chi the information on the stone tablet to check, and looked at the latter unblinkingly with his big watery eyes. After reading the information on the stone tablet, Qin-Chi felt a wave of emotion in his heart. He had never encountered a prop that could not be brought out as a copy before, but it changed its mind midway. This was incredible. Well, you can bring out the copy. Qin-Chi returned it to Sutingyu and warned, the stone tablet should be a functional prop that can seal some evil things. According to the rules of the copy, the upgraded stone tablet should be this copy. The boss's nemesis. Lao Sutingyu held the stone tablet and touched it over and over again. How to use it? You can only explore the specific method of use by yourself. Qin-Chi has never touched this kind of prop and doesn't know how to use it, so he can't give any advice. Oh. After Sutingyu put the stone tablet into the inventory, he looked at Qin-Chi with big eyes and smiled. Qin-Chi, are you just giving up this prop to me? When she handed the stone tablet to Qin-Chi just now, she was still wondering whether the latter would fall out with her over a prop. Who would have known that Qin-Chi just returned it to Sutingyu after reading the information on the stone tablet, without any intention of taking it for himself? Hearing this, Qin-Chi explained calmly, whether it was obtaining the stone tablet or discovering the secret of the stone tablet's fusion, you did it. The implication is that the stone tablet should belong to Sutingyu. Sutingyu blinked his big eyes, his eyes gradually becoming playful. Everyone knows the truth, but there are very few people who can still stick to their principles in the face of interests. Besides, I don't need it either, Qin-Chi added at the end. These words reminded Sutingyu of Qin-Chi's ancient bronze sword, which seemed to have similar abilities. Qin-Chi said it was not necessary, and it was natural. Okay then, Sutingyu responded with a smile, feeling a little happier at the moment. Keep looking for the stone tablets. The remaining stone tablets may not be enough to fuse and upgrade them at the same time to create a new stone tablet. Just take as many as you can find. Hold head high. Perhaps because luck had returned, Sutingyu and Qin-Kilo successively found 3 stone tablets that were not completely damaged. Judging from the stone tablet information, every time it is used, the durability will be lost. The remaining stone tablets found can be temporarily reserved to repair the durability. Huh? There seems to be a stone tablet there. Sutingyu took a closer look, and suddenly looked horrified for 2 seconds. On the stone tablet protruding from the ground, there were blood spots, which covered the entire stone tablet. Next to the stone tablet, a human head was thrown alone on the ground. The stiff face retained the fear and pain before death, and the eyes filled with lifeless energy seemed to be staring into the abyss. The face on this person's head was familiar to both Sutingyu and Qin-Chi. Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuan-Ke. Chapter 28. At night. Sutingyu and Qin-Chi returned to the wooden house. Sutingyu counted today's harvest and found a total of 18 stone tablets, only 5 of which were not completely damaged. There is no limit to the number of bronze-level stone tablets that can be fused, but if you want to upgrade again, the remaining 5 stone tablets are not enough. After simply solving the problem of eating, Sutingyu got down to business. Qin-Chi, there is only 1 day left before we can leave the dungeon, but why hasn't there been any movement from the dungeon boss? Not to mention the dungeon boss, they went out looking for the stone tablet in the past 2 days and didn't even encounter a single puppet, except for some puppet stumps thrown next to the stone tablet. Anyway, the current copy is too calm, and it always feels like something is weird. As usual, Qin-Chi inserted the ancient bronze sword outside the door before walking in. The boss of this copy seems to be somewhat intelligent. It is normal for him to hide before he fully recovers his strength. That night, his ancient bronze sword eroded part of the original energy of the dungeon boss, who was injured and escaped. In the past 2 days, they have been collecting stone tablets. It is impossible that the dungeon boss did not notice it and did not take action against them. It may be that he has not recovered his strength, or it may be. But the head I saw during the day was probably the male player who stayed up all night to stay bald. He met the puppet and was cut into pieces. Sutinyu couldn't figure out why other players could meet the puppet. But they couldn't even see a shadow. The few stone tablets on hand have not been used even once. Qin-Chi was silent. Is it possible that the dungeon boss this time is so smart? Bully the weak and fear the strong? Will you also pick out soft persimmons? Qin-Chi was thinking whether he should take back the ancient bronze sword first. Huh? It's past midnight. Sutinyu took out his cell phone, which still had half a battery, and looked at it. The 7th day of the dungeon, and the last day the main quest requires players to stay in Dawn Mountain, is finally here. Sutinyu yawned and was about to say good night. Outside the door, the ancient bronze sword suddenly trembled violently. Under the cover of night, an inexplicable wind blew quietly, the simple and fragile wooden door creaked and swayed, the flames of the fire in the wooden house shook a few times, and the originally motionless branches began to sway, making a rustling sound. Seemed to be mixed with some kind of strange rustling sound. Qin-Chi turned around and looked at the ancient bronze sword, his expression slightly condensed. Here he comes. Ah! Sutinyu blinked his big eyes, confused. Qin-Chi stood up and walked out of the door first. Seeing this, Sutinyu also followed. As soon as he went out, Sutinyu, who had poor eyesight, suddenly widened his eyes. Damn! About 20 meters away from the wooden house, at the edge of the woods, dozens of human-shaped black shadows clung to the trunks and treetops of the trees. Their cold and malicious eyes stared at the two Sutinyu who came out. It's a puppet. Sutinyu took a cursory glance and saw that there were at least 30 puppets with complete limbs surrounding the wooden house. There are 48 NPCs in the dungeon. Even if they are all converted into puppets, more than 30 people have come now. Isn't it too embarrassing for us? Sutinyu clicked his tongue in surprise. His expression was not at all afraid, but rather a little eager to try. Sutinyu took out an ordinary level stone tablet from the inventory and adjusted it to the size of a brick, making it easier to hold with one hand. Qin-Chi pulled out the ancient bronze sword, and as if it was a signal, the puppet wandering at the edge of the wood suddenly rushed towards the two of them. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuan-K. Chapter 29. At the same time. Roar. What happened? How did these monsters find us? Run. Boss Cao and Qingruyan, who were hiding in the cave and thought they could spend the night safely, were forced to escape from the cave entrance. Behind them, there were 4 puppets watching eagerly and chasing after them. Several times, their strange long black nails almost scratched the skin of the two of them. There are monsters here too. Here too. Boss Cao and Qingruyan almost desperately chose the last direction where they did not see the puppet appearing and fled in confusion. Boom. Sutinyu had a wooden stick in one hand and a brick in the other, and he would hit every puppet that dared to rush over. During this period, Sutinyu tried to use a stone tablet to put the puppet in, and found that it only needed to touch any part of the puppet. However, a stone tablet could only hold one puppet, which was a bit stretched. Moreover, the stone tablet can only function as a seal and cannot cause harm to the puppets inside. I don't keep such an ugly pet, so what's the point of keeping it? Sutinyu snarled, and once again slapped a puppet away with a brick. Ho ho. The part of the puppet that was shot away that was in direct contact with the stone tablet turned blood red, as if it was suddenly burned. A trace of fishy black air floated out, and the skin and even the bones inside were rotten. There are signs of it, and there is a stinging sound that is very similar to the moment when cold oil drips into a hot pan. Another puppet rushed towards him. Sutinyu sidestepped to avoid it and swept across with his stick. Bang, the puppet was flung away and fell to the ground. Within a few seconds, it got up again. Except for the redness of the area where it was hit, it was basically fine. Slowly, Sutingyu discovered that although the stone tablet could not directly and effectively kill the puppet, it had some restraint on the puppet. After knocking it several times, large areas of rot appeared all over the puppet's body. After a while, it rotted into a pile of smelly mud. However, frequent use of the stone tablets to knock the puppets would reduce the durability. Sutingyu held the 20% complete damage limit of 4 ordinary level stone tablets and replaced the stone tablets in turn. On Qin-Chi's side, the ancient bronze sword was filled with evil energy, and countless weird and terrifying little heads swarmed up to bite the black flame in the puppet's body. The puppet that was eaten by black flame lost all mobility in an instant and shriveled into a human skin. Without any surprise, more than 30 puppets were killed by Sutingyu and Qin-Chi one after another. Neither of them suffered any injuries, but Sutingyu's wooden stick suddenly broke after hitting the puppet for the nth time, and the durability of the 4 stone tablets was almost close to 20%. In addition, Sutingyu's painlessness was temporarily repaired by the game, and he finally realized what numbness in his hands felt like. Although the puppet was dead, more than 30 puppets were piled near the wooden house, filled with corpse air. Qin-Chi took dry firewood and dead leaves, lit a fire and burned the body. "You go and rest first. I'll keep watch," Qin-Chi said to Sutingyu. Qin-Chi set fire to the corpse while controlling the fire to avoid burning into the woods. Sutingyu nodded, "Okay, if you are sleepy, wake me up. We had just experienced the puppet attack, and we didn't know what might happen again. Someone had to keep watch to ensure safety." But once Sutingyu fell asleep, he slept until dawn and woke up naturally. Sutingyu was stunned for 2 seconds when he woke up. Could it be that Qin-Chi hadn't slept all night? "Are you all keeping vigil?" Sutingyu put on her shoes and went out to look for someone. As a result, she walked around the wooden house without seeing Qin-Chi's figure. Only the ancient bronze sword was still inserted outside the door, still in its original position, motionless. Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuan-Ke. Chapter 30. Qin-Chi went out again. There were dark burnt marks left on the ground outside the wooden house. Sutingyu touched his growling empty stomach and decided to have breakfast first. Qin-Chi came back just as he was halfway through the bread. Sutingyu stuffed the rest of the bread into her mouth, her cheeks bulging, and asked inarticulately, "Qin-Chi, ne quan goose?" "There are clues to the location of the dungeon boss's seal." Qin-Chi drew up the ancient bronze sword and walked into the wooden house. Hearing this, Sutingyu's eyes widened. Qin-Chi picked up his hiking bag and handed an unopened bottle of mineral water to Sutingyu. Sutingyu took it, unscrewed the bottle cap and drank some water, with a look of excitement on his face. "Then shall we go now? You didn't sleep last night, do you want to take a rest first?" "No, let's go." Sutingyu glanced at Qin-Chi carefully to make sure that the latter was not trying to hold on, and went to find her hiking bag. "Okay." After leaving the wooden house, Qin-Chi seemed to know the location of the seal very clearly, and there was no hesitation in his steps. Before Sutingyu could ask, Qin-Chi explained, "Most of the stone tablets supporting the formation are gone, so the location of the sealed dungeon boss cannot be hidden. At dawn, it was sensed by the ancient bronze sword." "So that's it." Sutingyu glanced at the ancient bronze sword in Qin's hand. "This ancient sword of yours has many functions. Not only can it cut and fight, it can ward off evil spirits and attract imps, but it can also be used as a detector." The two walked through a forest and were blocked by a mountain stream. The surrounding light was a bit dim and the sunlight was blocked by many strange-shaped green plants. The two continued to search along the direction of the stream, and finally made a discovery. A hidden cave covered in greenery. "It's hard to spot if you don't look carefully." Qin-Chi swung his sword to cut off some green plants, revealing a small hole. It was dark inside, with a hint of coldness that had not seen the light of day all year round. It doesn't look like it was formed naturally. Sutinyu glimpsed that the sides of the 3-meter-high hole were cut smoothly and flatly, as if they were made by manpower. Above the cave, there is a stone plaque engraved with some strange symbols. Sutinyu took out a stone tablet and compared the handwriting and style of the two symbols. They were very similar. Go in and take a look. Qin turned on the flashlight switch with his left hand, and the light shone into the dark hole. As soon as the two walked in, they smelled a muddy smell in the air. Sutinyu sniffed the smell in the cave. It's such a strong muddy smell. It was also present on the puppet before. It's like the smell of dead bones mixed with bloody mud. Qin has been holding the ancient bronze sword in his right hand, and his eyes are slightly wary of the front. Until the two of them reached the depths of the cave. Various mysterious and awkward symbols are carved all over the stone wall. Several thick and long iron chains are fastened to the stone wall. The other end fell alone on the circular stone platform, showing obvious signs of damage. It was obvious that the monster had broken the seal and escaped. In the corner at the edge of the stone platform, numerous bones were piled up and mixed into the soil. There are still a few fresh corpses on the white bones, and the bones and flesh inside seem to have been devoured, leaving only a thin pair of human skin. Sutinyu recognized one of the human skins. It is a female student NPC named Xiao Xia. No useful clues could be found in the cave, and the two came out soon. Qin, did the monster break the seal last night? Seeing Qin's calm expression, Sutinyu seemed to have guessed that the monster was no longer here. Qin nodded. Well, the puppet riot last night may be attracting our attention. He didn't have much hope at first, just for verification. Sutinyu blinked his big eyes with amusement in his eyes. That makes sense. But something feels weird. Sutinyu muttered.